So there's an old one that we saved that took out, and this unit is new. So you're looking every bit of, you know, 1/4 of an inch there, maybe 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to bring Miguel in here. What we're going to do is exactly what you would do if you needed to replace this top roller in your top roller mechanism for the Hummel here. We're going to obviously take off the side cover. We're going to work on the mounting screws on the side here, go through some tips on getting these screws out, the size wrenches that you'll need for all of this project. And while I'm going over that, anyone that bought a new Hummel, you should have in your possession, you know, this repair kit. This is all of the wrenches needed in the proper sizes to do all of the repairs that we're going to talk about today, except maybe some of the things about getting, you know, the bearings out if you wanted to get the bearings out, those kinds of things. But all of the wrenches that you would need would be in this kit. Again, that came with your new Hummel. But for right now, we'll turn it over to Miguel, and he'll go through some of the tips on sizes of wrenches, what to do, how to feed wrenches through different spots to make it easy.
All right. First, we need to open the belt cover. This is 6 millimeter Allen wrench. Okay. Then we can lift it.
So we're just compressing the top roller and removing the lever.
We open the belt cover because here is a hole where we need to insert the Allen wrench
so
to the bottom.
Yeah, so that's your access. If you're trying to fit a normal Allen wrench in there, this makes it easier, you know, for leverage, just getting it through.
It's held by 3 screws.
Right. Now obviously it's best to do this when there's no paper on the unit. And you can see why, you know, we compressed it so that we can get it out. If there was paper on the unit, you didn't compress it, you'd have a hard time getting this unit out right now. So on this particular top roller, what we're looking for, you know, if we have a lot of excess wear, you know, on one side versus another, that would be pretty good indicator that you need to replace the top roller. A lot of times when you need to remove the entire unit like this, it's to replace this top roller, but it's also to clean it. You may need to inspect the linkage, which is what this unit, this piece is here, this part, and all of these part numbers are available on cityfloorsupply.com. You can look up this machine, do a drop down. There'll be a PDF file in order to pull up exactly the diagram for this whole machine, and then zero in on the various parts you'll need. And that's, again, it's on cityfloorsupply.com. So taking this apart, we've got a couple different screws here on the top, both sides that are mounting screws that mount to the flats, and this top roller unit that's being, this new one, can go either way. It doesn't matter.
There is one flat.
There's, go ahead.
The flat side.
Right.
It goes
Goes
top.
up.
Yeah.
Yep. So both sides have a milled flat side on the shaft. So you can put it on either side, but the flat side goes up.
10 millimeter range and a 5 millimeters Allen wrench.
Right. Again, all these would be in your kit, but if you needed the sizes, 10 millimeter on the box wrench and 5 millimeter on the hex wrench. So the side that he's working on now is what we call the adjusting side, and that is for the compression spring. And that compression spring is essentially what will level the top roller unit to track paper. So if you wanted the paper while it was on the machine, and this will be on the outside, and you wanted to track the paper in, you would loosen the screw, bring the top roller up, and the paper would track in. And if you compress the spring that's underneath of it down, the paper would ride out. That's it. So this is the unit, this is the spring we just took out. There's a new one. So you're looking right now, this older one, nothing wrong with it, but you can see that it's probably about 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters compressed, smaller than a new spring, just so you know. There's an old one that we saved that took out, and this unit is new. So you're looking every bit of, 1/4 of an inch there, maybe 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters.
Yeah.
Yep. So while we're in here, Miguel's bringing up a good point. We are going to look at a couple things. Like our main repair is to replace this top roller. But while we're in there, we're looking at the chassis inside, checking inside there, making sure that where this unit lands, that all the machine surfaces are cleaned, so that when we remount this, that it's a clean, flat remount. And also, we're going to be checking all of the cams here for compression, and then making sure that the linkage isn't bent or splayed out too far. So all of these things, these guide rollers, we want to make sure
That one.
if the bearings get frozen, that's what can happen to a guide roller where it's supposed to be. So like we see this all the time, and that's because this bearing got frozen, and it can be from just about anything. More than likely, it's just regular wood dust, doing that. But it could be, a particular job that you were sanding that might have had some carpet pad or adhesive or some sort of underlayment that had debris that caused this bearing to freeze up. So just want to be cognizant of it, and then, obviously change those things out. Even though the main repair was just for the top roller, we are going to inspect all of this to make sure that any damage that might have been to the cam in here, or again, anywhere else, that we replace that while we have it out. Just makes sense. All right, so there is no top or bottom to the compression spring. So we're going to just install it just like that. Miguel was mentioning, if this gets clogged, that is these side supports here, that he'll file those out so that this top roller is able to be adjusted up and down on the spring, and that it's clear. So again, those are just maintenance items that you want to make sure you'll do before you install the new part, and is the gap, air gap, light gap here versus over here. So you want to try to make those as even as possible while you have it out, so that when you put it in the machine and you go to start it up, the paper doesn't shoot in and cut up your mechanism or the machine. So try and get it as even as you can while it's out of the machine. So we're going to bring this side down to that side as best we can, and then we'll do this minor adjustments in the machine. And we're just going to leave that lock nut loose because we know that we're going to have final adjustments inside when we get it mounted. All right, so we're all set up. We have electric to the machine bag on. We're going to check the tracking and show you how to adjust tracking for in and out, depending on whatever occurrence it is that you have when you put a new top roller unit back into the machine. So just put compressed. Now I usually leave it out a little bit, adjust the mechanism, and then we'll use the test button on the side. You can go ahead, Miguel, and you'll see how this is tracking. You can see the paper's coming out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the belt. We are going to adjust the compression spring so that it expands and lifts the outside edge of the top roller and lets the paper track in. Now remember, we took that lock nut, we didn't tighten it down, so the lock nut is loose, and we're going to go counterclockwise so that we're loosening the bolt and pushing the spring up so that the paper tracks into the machine, because right now it's tracking out. So counterclockwise brings the spring up and allows the paper to track in.
That should be enough. That's it. A little bit more.
So we're still a little bit out. When Miguel takes that paper off to do this final adjustment, I'm just going to show you on a new drum what the width of the paper actually is, so you get an idea of where the paper should land. And if you look, the paper is less than 1/8 of an inch wider than the drum itself. So these edges, that's about a good indicator what you want this outside edge to look like. You don't want that paper tracking in here. You want it on the outside edge of the drum, just like that. So we'll get there when we do this now. But the drum width is just slightly smaller than the 7 7/8 paper. And that's it.
Yep.
So with a properly adjusted paper, that's what we're looking at right here on the edge. That's also going to allow us to get the cover on cleanly without it hitting the outside like this. Again, this is a tracking issue that creates a problem with these covers. If you see that discoloration, make sure you check your top roller unit and or your tracking. But once the unit is set for, now you're ready, and that'll give you the best dust control. I know guys will take that off either to get closer to the wall or, but your dust control is best while that cover is on. So he would tighten up that locking nut, and now that unit's set and ready to sand, and you've replaced your top roller unit or top roller in the top roller unit. If you have any more questions or concerns, you can give us a call at 800-737-1786. If you needed any of these parts, they're all available online at cityfloorsupply.com.